Welcome to our new channel, RBC After Class. Today I'll be focusing on a series called Second Act, where I interview former dancers who have successfully transitioned into some unique careers. I wanted to put this series together to show my students that their ballet education has merit far beyond the studio. Today I'm interviewing Erin Duffy, a former dancer with Ballet San Jose and a Columbia University graduate. She is currently an investment banker at Houlihan Lokey in San Francisco, California. We are so lucky she sat down with us today, and I hope you're inspired by her story.
My name is Erin Duffy. I danced professionally with Ballet San Jose. I danced with them for 7 years from 2000, and then I retired in 2007. But now I am living out in San Francisco, and I am an investment banker. Most of my time is I work exclusively with technology companies and mostly software businesses, and I help them. The way the analogy I usually give is it's sort of like being a real estate agent for technology or software businesses. So we help them either raise more money to help them grow, or help them run a process to be sold. That's typically what we do. And so I've been doing that now for 10, 11 years.
When did you know you wanted to pursue a career in dance?
I think I was 9 when I came home and I told my parents I'm going to be a professional ballet dancer. And they sort of said, okay, well, that's nice. There's plenty of young girls that have that same dream. And but I said, no, I'm going to do it. And so they said, okay, sure. And I really sort of was determined that that's what I wanted to do, and that's nothing was going to stop me as far as I was concerned.
What did you love most about dance?
I loved performing. That was my favorite part. And I really loved that feeling of entertaining people and putting on a costume, and it was sort of like a reward for all the hard work. And so that's the part that I loved the most and probably missed the most since retiring.
How did you know that you were ready to begin your career transition?
That's a tough question. So I'll tell you my story there, because it was, I would say, probably one of the toughest times for me. Like I had said, I had danced for 7 years. I always knew, and it was sort of my promise when I got my contract at 17 and I was making a choice between going to school, and I'd been accepted to NYU, going to NYU, or taking my dance contract. I promised myself and my family that I would always go back to school. And so I sort of had, this nagging piece to me that I knew I always wanted to go back and fulfill. I decided to apply to a couple schools, and my first choice, which was where I ended up going to, was Columbia. And for me, I danced out on the West Coast, but I have a lot of family and roots in the Northeast. So I always had this dream that I wanted to go to New York. And so I applied to Columbia, and my intention when I applied to Columbia was to defer. I was going to defer for a year or two, but at least I sort of had my foot in the door. I had that option. So when I was ready to transition, I could jump ship. Once I got in, I found out I got in, I was super excited, and I went out to New York and took a tour of the campus, and I fell in love with it. It just felt right. I just felt inspired. I went back and I met with my artistic director and said, now's the time for me to make this change. And so it was sort of this weird number of factors that helped me sort of make that jump into, this quick decision to move cross country and start, a whole new path, basically.
Do you think that because of your dance background, you had a leg up over other college students who didn't have dance?
Yeah, it's funny because I think it was a combination of, just by not being a traditional student, being a little bit older going back to school, coupled with my dance background. I just had sort of this built-in discipline that
Mm.
I brought and, to my school studies. And I also brought this level of desire for achievement.
So you have reached success in very different fields. Are there any mental tools that you use that have helped you?
The number one, so I get this question, I get a variation of this question a lot. And the question is, how do you be successful?
Okay.
And for me, the number one thing I always say is resiliency. And that's something that I think came from ballet,
Mm.
right? Ballet is, as everybody knows, it extremely challenging. It is trying at times. There's a constant continued path for achievement, right? There's never sort of this reach this pinnacle of being being perfect. And so in banking, a lot of what bankers do, I always say, can be taught, right? But you can't teach resiliency. You can't teach somebody how to wake up every day and mess up this important report and just keep putting your head down and doing the best you can.
And not letting it affect you.
Right. And a lot of people will come into banking similar to ballet, whereas a lot of ballet dancers are good students, they're well rounded, and you come into banking and the the pool of talent is top performers at top colleges around the country, around the world, and they come in and all of a sudden they're low man on the totem pole and they don't know what they're doing, and that's extremely, extremely stressful. The ability to sort of just take that and say, there is a lot that I do know. Let me at least start tackling what I can do
Mm.
and maintaining a certain confidence in yourself. I always say I'm applying everything I learned from ballet and applying it to a different career. It's all of those different challenges you deal with as a dancer that I take all of that skill and discipline and apply it just to a different path, essentially. And I really, really don't think I would have stuck with banking as long as I have or been as successful with it as I have if it wasn't for my background. I don't think there's any way, even though it seemed like two different universes, I don't think I would have, I know I wouldn't have been doing this career without ballet.
Do you have a personal philosophy or a mantra that you live by?
I always want to be proud of what I do. I've always, when I look back, I've sort of had this mental checklist of things I wanted to accomplish. Am I going to be proud? Am I going to be excited to tell my family and friends about it? You don't want to be operating under the lens of finding acceptance from other people. You have to do things that are right for you.
Mm.
So I think for me, though, it's been this combination of, if it's something that I feel like I am going to be proud of, that I think I can accomplish to a certain level of success that makes me feel good, then other people around me are going to feel like they're going to feel proud of me. They're going to feel happy for me.
Would you say to a parent
Okay.
who was interested in sending their child to dance classes, would you encourage them to start dance?
So I would say absolutely. I would say there's so many, like I said earlier, there's so many pieces of it of dancing and the training that are really challenging and difficult. And it's really this sort of like coming of age experience that you go through. But I think that what I feel like personally I've taken away from it, and I think that you and a lot of our friends would probably agree, there's so much positive that comes out of it, from a discipline and a just a sense of achievement. I think that there's so much that you can take away through life that you can always apply to other disciplines if you don't go down the path of being a professional dancer. And even just like going to class and being on time every day and being dressed a certain way and, you know, taking care of yourself.
Well, all of it.
Yeah. And for a performance, making sure you're prepared, make sure you have everything you need. I mean, that's, and being on stage, you know, live performances, there's so much that you can take away from so many aspects of it. I think it's just I feel very blessed to have started in it. Feel very blessed to have a family that supported me, you know, wanting to become something to be able to achieve it. I feel very lucky in that way.
Thank you for watching our first episode of Second Act. Next time, we'll be interviewing Katie Fogelson, a founding trainer of the Mirror and a former dancer with the New York City Ballet. Have a great day.